Hello everyone, how's it going? So I beat the DLC for Doom the Dark Ages about 3 times. I got all the achievements as you can see here. Let me shrink this, but yeah, see? I got all the achievements. I beat everything 100%, all the challenge rooms, everything in the game, the super boss. And I would say the DLC is fine. Like, if you didn't like Doom the Dark Ages, this isn't going to change your mind. They took a lot of criticism and they tried to meet people halfway while not trying to sour the core concepts of Doom the Dark Ages. And look, a lot of people, including myself, think this is the weakest entry in the Doom modern day trilogy. But I think if you take the game for what it is, it can have a lot of really good moments for you to enjoy. Now, look, the way I've always seen the Doom trilogy is that the first game was more like you were a sword, you were balanced in both strength, defense, and mobility. Doom Eternal, you were more like a drill. You weren't that defensive, but you were much faster and you were more precise. And this one, you're a wrecking ball. You're supposed to swing wildly, you're supposed to ram into things, and that's how this game tries to play as. When it comes to the DLC, they give you some new advantages, but that comes later on. The game opens up just like with Doom the Dark Ages. You're this walking tank, you're trying to take down the Hell Council. This takes place after the events of the core game, and things don't go well. You get thrown into purgatory, you lose your armor, which turns you into a much more frail warrior, which is like, that's where I run into a bit of an issue with this DLC, is because you're supposed to be this walking tank, but they try to pair you with these new mobility abilities. Like, for example, the spear serves as your primary defensive ability. You will be able to deflect and parry attacks. You'll have this wide swing, which isn't really that powerful. You can't upgrade it later and it becomes a beast later, but at the beginning of the game you're just very frail and weak. It's definitely the Doom Eternal approach where things get easier the more you upgrade. I never really felt that way with Doom the Dark Ages. I felt like you were always able to hold your own even from the beginning of the game. Maybe that's just the way I played, but in this game they definitely went the Doom Eternal route where you are very frail and weak at the beginning of the game, but as you upgrade, as you get resources and you collect yourself again, you eventually become this hulking monster, and it's really well done in terms of the narrative direction. So here they definitely explore more of the human side of the Doom Slayer. I don't know how many people are going to enjoy that. Me personally, I've always loved the lore of these games because I mean, they put a lot of work into it. I love the idea of Arden Janor. I love the dimensions. I love the gods, the Dark Lord. I like all about it, and for me, this shows that the Doomslayer, despite everything that he is still very much a human. He still has human emotions, he still has regrets, sins, things he wants to try and be better for. It's like, it reminds me a lot of Samus Aran, just bear with me here. People always look at Samus Aran as someone who's just this badass bounty hunter who just doesn't really care, who does her job and just walks away stoic, emotionless. But anyone who's looked into the lore of Metroid knows that Samus is actually very emotional. She'll protect anyone who needs her help. Yes, she's a bounty hunter, but she's also deeply afraid of Ridley. But at the same time, it doesn't consume her. She's able to use that rage and fight back. She's always collective. She's always strong of will, and despite everything she endures, like losing her friends, losing her families, she's able to just move forward, and she's able to take on some of the most powerful threats in the universe. And that's kind of how I felt with the Doomslayer here. You see his more vulnerable side of something he deeply regrets, and Hell tries to use that to their advantage until Doomslayer just said, nah, fuck you, I'm just gonna put a shotgun in your mouth and shoot you. And it shows him coming to become stronger than he's ever been before. So in terms of lore, I really enjoyed it, and the narrative direction they put here, it supplements and complements the entire whole origin of the Doomslayer. Now, when it comes to the gameplay, like I said, the new introduction is the spear. You do get the shield later on, but I found myself using the shield more effectively because this game seems to be built with the shield rather than the spear. I don't know. I really think that people who are more expert at Doom Eternal and Doom the Dark Ages combat will be more fitting with the spear, because it's definitely a harder weapon to use. There's so many different mechanics and systems that you need to memorize, and the combat style is so unique and requires such a precise timing in order to master. It's very hard. They tried to put you in situations where you have to swap between the two, and it's clear that they put PC first for this, which obviously Doom is a PC game first, but if you're going to play this on controller like I did, it's going to hurt your fingers, because the way they did it, basically I played on an Xbox, is that you use the up D-pad, swap between it, and look, yeah, you can alter the controls if you want, but I tend to play on default because I hate having to do all of that stuff. But you have to press B in order to parry attacks with the spear, and you can see, like, yeah, you have to use the crab arm, and that's where things become problematic for me. So I think for PC players, this is definitely going to be more manageable. When it comes to console players, yeah, be prepared for your fingers to really hurt, because there is a lot of stuff you're going to have to deal with. And that's because they kind of played more heavily into the Pokemon system with this game. Every single attack, every single situation has a counter. For example, the spear has a meat hook. And at first I was using it like Doom Eternal's meat hook with the sawed-off shotgun. You're not supposed to use it like that. Like I said, that's why I used the drill analogies, because the meat hook for Doom Eternal pushes you forward. Like, you can sway a little, but for the most part, it's supposed to just charge you forward so you can shoot someone in the face. The spear doesn't work that way. It works more like a wrecking ball, where you're supposed to rope around the creature like a grappling hook and use it as a way to flank enemies and get around targets. So once I started using it like that, it started to click for me. That's why I said you have to play this game on its own foundation, and once you do that and try and put your mindset into the rules of this game instead of Eternal in 2016, you start to see where they were going for. Like, with every single attack the demons use, there is a counter that you have that you can use, but you have to be extremely precise and ready to act on it immediately. I did wish that there was more cosmetic options. I feel like this game could have gone very wild with the cosmetics in this game, but for this one, it's definitely lacking, especially when it comes to the spear. There is that. In terms of the enemy variety, there are a few. I won't say what. They definitely change up things, but they use similar tactics in a way of just powering up the surrounding demons in different variations. They still use the same type of combat system, where sometimes there's a leader that you have to take down in order to dispel the shield in against other enemies, or they are rallying the surrounding troops around you. The only major issue I had with this DLC is the fact that the final boss is a huge letdown. I was expecting something of a switcheroo when I got to the final boss. I was like, yeah, I'm trying to... Okay, I won't say what it is, but if you're playing this, you already know what it is. But yeah, I was just like, okay, so once I kill it, then the real final boss will come out, and I was just like, wait, that's it? Like, that was the biggest disappointment, and it just reminded me so much of the Doom Eternal's DLC that, I don't know, I felt like they could have done something way better with the final boss here, because considering that Eternal's DLC final boss was such a letdown, I mean, the Dark Lord was just an over-bloated marauder, I felt like here they could have done something a little better. That's just my opinion, but the biggest letdown is definitely the finale when it comes to the final boss. Fortunately, the endgame content is actually really good. Like, that's the best part of this entire DLC. There are challenges, there are objective-based challenges, obviously. But the best ones are these classic stages where you go through the original Doom levels. And I was just like doing the Leonardo DiCaprio meme, like, I remember that. That's how I was able to go through it. Like, there's a lot of really cool callbacks in this game. The presentation is still freaking amazing. Like, there's one thing I don't think anyone can really argue against, that Doom, the Dark Ages, has the best presentation compared to any of the other Doom games. I will die on that hill, especially when it comes to the Lovecraftian levels. Dear God, like, if id Software can do a Lovecraft game, I would love it, because the Lovecraft in this game is so freaking good. It is a shame that they were affected by layoffs. I really hope that they can continue to move forward and pump out great games, because even though this game hasn't received the amount of love that I wish it did, and I understand why, this game should have been sold at $50, not $70, but I still think that it's a decent DLC. I think it's a great thing in how it's executed. I love the gameplay. I didn't like the final boss, but I enjoyed it. Like, I mostly go with I usually just rate games now based on whether I enjoyed them or not, and by the end of the DLC, I was like, I had fun. I enjoyed it. Yes, the final boss wasn't that great, but they make up for it with the optional super boss. I won't spoil what it is. I was disappointed with it the way it looks, but in terms of the fight itself, it's freaking intense. Like, it will definitely test every skill you've learned throughout the game, and be prepared to probably want to break your controller, because if you're not playing on PC with that thing, you're going to have a miserable time. I beat it with controller. I'm happy I did that, but still, I would recommend you connect the mouse and keyboard, because it is murder on your fingers. Either way, if I would have give this a rating, I would give it the same score I gave Doom the Dark Ages. I believe I gave it a 7 out of 10. Like, I think it is 2 notches above average. I think it is a fun game. It's engaging, and if you take it for what it is instead of what it's not, you're going to have a good time. But at the same time, I also think the price is way too much for $70 for the base game. I think that should be $50. $20 for this DLC. I think 15 would have been a good price point for this, but $20 for what I enjoyed, yeah, I had a good time with it. Like, even though it only took around 4 hours to complete, I enjoyed what I engaged with, and as long as I got my money's fill, that's what I ultimately tried to argue. And for $20, I think I got my fill. But that's my opinion. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you think this game is good or not? What's your opinion on it? Also, man, it really sucks that it got layoffs. I really hope that they'll survive the current horrible landscape of the gaming industry. But this is actually pretty good.